Question 1. This is a list of ingredients for making chicken soup for 4 people. Bill is going to make chicken soup for 6 people. Work out the amount of each ingredient he needs. The key thing here is that he has the ingredients for 4 and he wants it for 6. The difference between that is 2. So if we half the ingredients for 4 people, that'll give me the remaining ingredients for 2 people. We can then add those on. So half of 60 is 30, half of 300 is 150, half of 150 is 75, half of an onion is half, and 640 halved is 320. If we add those on, we get 90, 450, 225, 1.5, 960. Question 2. A publisher checks documents for errors. He records the number of documents that are checked each day. He also records the total number of errors in the documents each day, and the scatter graph shows this information. On another day, 90 documents are checked and there was a total of 17 errors. Show this information on the scatter graph. So if we go along to 90, which is halfway between 1800, and go up to 17. Now the important thing on this axis is to realise that every 2 squares is a whole one. So you need to go up 4 squares from 15 to there. So it should be just there. Part B, describe the correlation between the number of documents checked and the total number of errors. There's a positive correlation as they are going up towards the top. One day, 110 documents are checked. Estimate the total number of errors in these documents. Well, it doesn't ask you for a line of best fit here, but it's best to use one always. So if we draw a line of best fit and then go to 110, go up to the line, my line of best fit goes across to 20. So anywhere around about 20 would be perfectly fine as an answer. Question 3. Here's a triangular prism. Work out the volume of the prism. To work out the volume of the prism, we find the area of the cross section, in this case a triangle, which is base times height and half it, and times by how far back it goes. So 4 times 3 is 12, and half it is 6, times 20 is 120. Now it's really important, there's 4 marks for this question. The final mark is for putting centimetres cubed here. It's really important you get that mark. Question 4. Simplify 4y plus 2x minus 3 plus 3x plus 8. Well, if we look at the y's, there's only one term that's got y's in it, so we can leave the 4y's alone. There's a plus 2x and a plus 3x, which go together to 5x's, and a minus 3 and a plus 8 gives us plus 5. So it'll be 4y plus 5x plus 5. Factorise this fully. Well, we can see if we look at the numbers, 3 goes into both 9 and 6. And if we look at the algebra terms, we've got x goes into x squared and xy. So if we pull 3x out, we then need to times that by 3 and another x to get back to 9x squared, and times it by 2 to get the 6, and a y to get the xy. So it's 3x brackets 3x minus 2y. Part C, expand 4 brackets x plus 2. 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 2 is 8. And expand and simplify this. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is plus 3x's. Minus 5 times x is minus 5x's. And minus 5 times 3 is minus 15. If we put the x's together in the middle, we end up with minus 2x's. So the final answer is x squared minus 2x minus 15. Question 5. Jane has a packet of seeds. The probability that a seed will grow is 0.75. What's the probability it will not? Well, since these are mutually exclusive, will grow and will not grow, we can take that away from a whole one. So 1 take away 0.75 is 0.25. She plants 200 of these seeds. Estimate the number of seeds that will grow. So the probability that it will grow is 0.75, which is the same as 3/4. Times that by 200, we get 150. There's several ways you can do that. You can treat it as 75%, or you can find 3/4 of that. Whichever way you do it, it's 150. Question 6. Translate shape A by the vector minus 3, 2. With a vector, the top number tells us left and right, and the bottom number up and down. If it's positive, it will be right and up. If it's negative, it will be left and down. So in this case, we're going 3 left and 2 up. So I've chosen the top left corner, and I've gone 1, 2, 3 left and 2 up. So the top left corner will go to there. It's important that you now draw the shape in with that being the top left corner. So 2 across, diagonally down 3 and across 1, down 3 and across 1, 2 and join back up again. Question B. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape Q onto R. So we're going from Q to R. For this one, we can see that the shape is rotated from Q pointing right to R pointing upwards. So First mark is for rotation. The second mark is knowing that that is 90 degrees anti-clockwise. And then the centre of rotation, the best way to find that is to put tracing paper on. It's going to be around here somewhere, and just use trial and improvement to find it, and you'll find that it's at 0, 0. Question 7. Rita is going to make some cheeseburgers for a party. She buys some packets of cheese slices and some burgers. There are 20 cheese slices in a packet and 12 burgers in a box. She buys exactly the same amount of cheese slices as burgers. How many packets and boxes will she need? So if we do go up in 20s for the cheese slices and go up in 12s for the burgers, we will see that she needs to buy 60. That is 3 packets of cheese slices and 5 boxes of burgers. So 3 and 5. Rita wants to put 1 cheese slice and 1 burger on each bread roll. She wants to use all the cheese slices and all the burgers. How many will she need? Well, we've just said that she'll buy 60 of each if she buys 3 and 5. So 60 bread rolls is what she needs. Question 8. ABC is a triangle. Angle ABC and BCA, so these two here, are equal to each other. Now that's really important because it tells us that this is an isosceles triangle, i.e. this side and this side are equal. The lengths of the sides are given in algebra to start with. Work out the perimeter of the triangle in centimetres. So the key fact here is that both sides are the same here. So 3x minus 5 is equal to 19 minus x. So that's how we start off. We can then solve this equation by adding x to both sides, gives us 4x minus 5 equals 19. Then add 5 to both sides, gives us 4x equals 24. So x will be 6. Once you've got that x is 6, we can then work out the length of each side. So 3 times 6, take away 5 is 13. 19 take away 6 is 13. And 2 times 6 is 12. So 13 add 13 add 12 is 38. Question 9. Julia is investigating how much exercise people do in a week. She uses 2 questions in a questionnaire. Question 1 is what is your age with these option boxes, and how much exercise do you do with these option boxes. Write down one thing that's wrong with each. In option 1, the biggest thing that's wrong with it is that the age boxes overlap. So if you are 25, you don't know which box to put it in there. And on question 2, there's no time frame. By time frame, I mean you must put on how much exercise do you do per day or per week. So no time frame. Also, you could have had that the option boxes are open to opinion as well. Part B, design a question Julia could use in a questionnaire. So how much exercise do you do per week? So there's my time frame. And for the option boxes here, even though they do overlap, because this is time, you can say whether you're less than an hour or more than an hour by choosing between these 2 boxes. Having exactly an hour is quite rare, so it's more than happy for these to overlap. And you must have something covering all options, so you must go from 0 and have a 3 plus on the end there, or whichever one you've got up to. Question 10. The diagram shows the floor of a village hall. The caretaker needs to polish the floor. 1 tin of polish normally costs £19 and it covers 12 metres squared. But there's a discount of 30% off the polish. The caretaker has £130. Does it enough to complete the floor? Well, the first thing we need to do is find the area of the floor. So if we split it into 2 rectangles, this one is 9 by 8, which is 72 metres squared. And this one is 6 by, if that's 9 and that's 16, then this must be 7. So 6 by 7, which is 42. 72 add 42 is 114 metres squared in total. If we divide that by 12 metres squared, which is the amount each tin covers, well, 10 tins would be 120 and 9 tins would be 108. So we would need to buy 10 tins. 10 lots of £19 is £190, but we then need to knock 57% off, £57 off, because 10% is 19 and 30% is 57 if we times that by 3. So it will cost £133. So no, he does not have enough money. Question 11. Each day a company posts some small letters and some large letters. The company posts all the letters by first class post. The table shows information about the cost of sending a small letter by first class post and the cost of sending a large letter by first class post. One day the company wants to post 200 letters. The letters are in the ratio of 3 to 2 for small letters to large letters. 70% of the large letters weigh between 0 and 100. The rest are between 101 and 250. Work out the total cost. Well, if we split this ratio up first, 3 to 2 means that each bit is, there are 5 parts. 200 divided by 5 is 40. So 3 times 40 is 120 small letters, and 2 times 40 is 80 large letters. The 120 small letters will cost 60p each, which is 7,200 pence or £72. For the remaining 80 large letters, we need to work out 70% to get the amount that's going to be over 101 grams. So 10% of 80 is 8. If we times that by 7 to get 70%, we know that 56 letters will be between 0 and 100. So 56 times a pound, because it's a pound for those ones, is £56. And the remaining 24 letters will cost you £1.50 each. So 24 times £1.50 is 36. And if we add these three up, we get £164 in total. Question 12. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 3x plus 2 from -2 to 2. So if we draw a table from -2 to 2 for x, when x is -2, 3 lots of -2 is -6, add 2 is -4, so y would be -4. 3 times -1 is -3, add 2 is -1. 3 lots of 0 is 0, add 2 is 2. 3 lots of 1 is 1, add 2 is 3, sorry. Add 2 is 5, and 3 lots of 2 is 6, add the 2 is 8. You'll notice when I've drawn my axes, I've gone up in ones on the y-axis, but I've used 2 squares each on the x-axis. That's just to make it spread out a little bit more, but be careful if you do that. I plot each of these points, so -2, -4, -1, -1, 0, 2, 1, 5, and 2, 8, and join them up with a straight line. Question 13. Hertford Juniors is a basketball team. At the end of 10 games, their mean score is 35 points per game. At the end of 11 games, it's gone down to 33 points per game. How many points did they score in the 11th game? Well, if you've got an average of 35 points per game over 10 games, that means they must have scored 350 points in those 10 games. With an average of 33 points for the 11 games, then over those 11 games at 33 points per game, that would be 363. Meaning that they must have scored the difference, which is 13 points. Question 14a, write down the reciprocal of 5. Well, any whole number can be written as over 1, because if you divide by 1 it stays the same. And reciprocal means to flip it upside down, so that'll be a fifth. Evaluate means to work out 3 to the -2. So anything to the power of a minus number means you just do it as 1 over, you find the reciprocal of it. So that'd be 1 over 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, so that's 1 over 9. Calculate 9 times 10 to the 4 times 3 times 10 to the 3. Well, if we rearrange that to put the numbers first, so 9 times 3 is 27, 10 to the 4 times 10 to the 3 is 10 to the 7. That's not in standard form, however. So standard form has to be between 1 and 10. So if we make that 2.7 times 10 to the 8. Question 15, solve these simultaneous equations. To solve simultaneous equations, we need the same amount of x's or the same amount of y's, so that we can add them together or take them away to get rid of those x's or y's. I've decided to multiply the top equation by 2 and the bottom equation by 3, so that we have 6 x's in both equations. Times the top by 2, you'll get this. Each term must be multiplied by 2. And multiplying the bottom one by 3, you'll get this. Again, multiplying each by 3. If we take these away from each other, 6x take away 6x is no x's, so that's the whole point of doing it. 8y take away minus 9y is like 8 add 9y, so that's 17y's. And 10 take away 27 is minus 17. Minus 17 divided by 17 is minus 1, so y is minus 1. We can then substitute that into any of the equations that we've got. I've chosen the first one. So 3x plus 4 times y, which is minus 1, equals 5. So that's 3x take 4 is 5. Add 4 to both sides, divide by 3. We get x is 3. Question 16. A company makes monsters. The company makes small monsters with a height of 20. The small monster has a surface area of 300 centimetres squared. The company also makes large monsters with a height of 120. Work out the surface area of a large monster. Well, the scale factor of heights, if the small one is 20 and the large one is 120, the scale factor is 6. So it's got 6 times bigger. The thing to remember though is that when we're working out area, the scale factor needs to be squared. The same with volume, it needs to be cubed. So we need to do 300, which is the surface area of the small one, times 6 squared. 6 squared is 36, so 300 times 36 is 10,800 centimetres squared. Question 17. AB is a line segment. A is a point with coordinates 3, 6, 7, and the midpoint of AB has coordinates -2, 2 and 5. Find the coordinates of B. Well, to get from, on the x coordinates, you get from 3 to -2, we need to take 5 off. So that's the midpoint. So if we need to do the same on the other side, so take another 5 off, gets us down to -7. To get from 6 to 2, looking at the y coordinates, you take off 4, take off another 4, we get down to -2, since that's the midpoint. And to get from 7 to 5, we take off 2, so 5 take 2 would be 3. So the coordinates of B would be -7, -2, 3. Question 18. The cumulative frequency graph shows information about the times 80 swimmers took to swim 50 metres. Use the graph to find an estimate of the median time. So if there are 80 swimmers, the middle of that is 40 swimmers. So we go from 40 across to our line and read down, you'll see that that is at 68. Notice each little square is worth 2. So that'll be 68, very important. A swimmer has to swim 50 metres in 60 seconds or less to qualify for the swimming team. The team captain says more than 25% of swimmers have qualified for the swimming team. Is it correct? Well, if we look back at the cumulative frequency graph, if we go to 60 seconds to complete the race and then go across, there were 28 swimmers did it in that time or less. 28 out of 80 did it, and 28 out of 80 is greater than 25% because 25% of 80 is only 20. So yes, he is correct. For these 80 swimmers, the least time taken was 28 seconds and the greatest time taken was 96. Use the cumulative frequency graph and the information to draw a box plot. Well, the box plot looks like this. This is the minimum time, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and the maximum time. So I can draw on at the minimum time, which was 28, the maximum time was 96, and the median time was 68 that we did in question A. However, going back to the graph, the lower quartile, a quarter of 80 is 20, so we go across at 20 and down, which is 53 swimmers. And for the upper quartile, it's 3/4 of the way up, so it's 60. We go across and we're down at 76 swimmers. So if we go back to our box plot, we need the lower end of the box at 53 and the upper end at 76. And then we join it together like that. Question 19. In a supermarket, the probability that John buys fruit is 0.7. In the same supermarket, the probability that John independently buys vegetables is 0.4. Work out the probability that John buys fruit or vegetables or both. The probability of him just buying fruit is 0.7 times the probability of him not getting vegetables, which is 0.6. The probability of him just buying vegetables is the probability of him not buying, probability of him buying vegetables times the probability of him not buying fruit, which is 0.3. And buying both is the probability of him buying vegetables and fruit as well. So if we multiply that, that's 0.42, that's 0.12, and that's 0.28. Add those up, you get 0.82. Question 20, solve this equation. The first step here is we've got a fraction here, so we're going to get rid of this fraction by multiplying both sides by 3x. On this side, that'll cancel out the fraction. On that side, you get 30x. I'm then going to expand the brackets, so we get 32x minus 8 equals 30x. Then I'm going to add 8 to both sides. You could have taken the x's off here first, but if you add 8 to both sides, we get 32x equals 30x plus 8. Take 30x off both sides, we get 2x is 8, so x is 4. Part B, write as a single fraction in its simplest form, 2 over y plus 3, take away 1 over y minus 6. To add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator, so the common denominator of this one will be y plus 3, y minus 6. We get that by multiplying the top and bottom of this one by y minus 6, and the top and bottom of this one by y plus 3. That will give us our common denominator. And times that by y minus 6, I get 2y minus 6. And on this one, I'll get 1 brackets y plus 3. If we expand that out, 2 times y is 2y, and 2 times minus 6 is minus 12. Minus 1 times y is minus y, and minus 1 times 3 is minus 3. And if we simplify that together, we get y minus 15 over our common denominator of y plus 3, y minus 6. Question 21. Y is directly proportional to the square of x. When x is 3, y is 36. Find the value of y when x is 5. Well, we can write that down as y is proportional to x squared. So y is equal to the constant of proportionality times x squared, and this is the key thing that we need to work out. When y is 36, x is 3, so we need to square that also, so that gives us 9. So 36 divided by 9 gives us that k must be 4. So our formula is y equals 4x squared. When x is 5 then, to work out y, we just do 4 times 5 squared. 4 times 25 is 100. Question 22. A, B, C and D are points on the circumference of a circle at the centre of O. A or C equals y. Find the size of angle ABC in terms of y, given reasons for you at each stage you're working. Well, the first thing that we can do is we need to notice that we've got an angle at the centre and an angle on the circumference, so we can use the fact that this will always be double that angle. So if this is y, then this must be y divided by 2, because if we double that we get y. So angle ADC is equal to y over 2 because angles at the centre are double the angle at the circumference. We can then find the angle ABC, the one that we're after, is 180 minus y over 2. The reason for that is we've got a cyclic quadrilateral here, and we know that opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. So that's my reason there as well, for 4 marks for each section of that. Question 23. On the grid, enlarge the triangle by a scale factor of -1/2 with a centre of 0, -2. So the first thing I've done here is identified my centre, 0, -2. To do a negative enlargement, we take each corner in turn, so I've labelled them here so I don't get mixed up. And I see how far away they are from the centre of enlargement, and I multiply that by 1/2 and do it the opposite way. So A is 2 right and 4 up, so half of that would be 1 and 2. I'm going to go left and down instead to get to A. B is 2 right and 6 up, so I'm going to go 1 left and 3 down. And C is 2, 4, 6 right and 2, 4, 5 up, so I'm going to go 3 left and 2.5 down to there. My triangle will be there. OACB is a parallelogram. OA equals A, OB equals B. D is the point such that AC equals CD. So since it's a parallelogram, if that's B, that must also be the vector B, and that must also be the vector B. And if that's A, that must also be A. So I've labelled all those up straight away. It says write an expression for ON in terms of A and B. So I want to get from O to N. First of all, I need to know what vector this line is here, from A to B. A to B, if I start at A, I need to go down this vector backwards, so that's -A plus a B. So the vector from A to B is -A plus B. To get from O to N, I can then go up this one, which is A, and then down here. Now, we've said up here that N is the point on AB that is in the ratio 2 to 1. So that means that that must be 2/3 of the full line. So I'm going to go up here, which was A, and then down 2/3 of AB. So 2/3, and AB was -A plus B. If I simplify that out, that's A minus 2/3 A plus 2/3 B. So that will give me 1/3 A plus 2/3 B. It says prove that OND is a straight line, so from O to N to D is a straight line. To prove that, we need to show that the vector ON and ND are parallel to each other. The way we do that is by finding the vector for each, and if this is a multiple of this, then they will be parallel to each other. And since that they share the same point N, then it must be a straight line if they're parallel to each other as well. So I've written, if ND is a multiple of ON, then they both have the same gradient or are parallel. And since they both share N, it will be a straight line. So we already know what ON is, we just need to work out ND. So to get from N to D, okay, I'm going to go down here, which is 1/3 of AB, and AB was -A plus B. I'm going to go up here, which is another A, and I'm going to go along here, which is another B. If we simplify this out, I've got -1/3 A plus 1/3 B plus A plus B. And leaving that in terms of thirds, I've got 2/3 of A plus 4/3 of B. We can see, therefore, that ON, if we double that, so ON was this, if we double that, we get ND. So ON is 2 times of ND. Therefore, OND is a straight line, because we've already said that they share the point K.